Riri, you want to tell me what's wrong?
Fans have long speculated about whether Aretha Franklin's father, Reverend Clarence Leon Franklin, was the one who fathered her first child. There are several accounts that suggest the Reverend was notorious for being promiscuous, with allegations of inappropriate behavior with young girls at his church. Given his reputation, some wonder if it's possible he could have been involved with Aretha in this way, though there's no definitive proof. So, what exactly did Aretha say about her father? Anyone who knows Aretha knows she had a complicated relationship with men, often facing turmoil in her personal life. She was under 18 when she had 2 children and married Ted White at the age of 19. However, it was said that Ted was far from a good man. He was reportedly abusive and had multiple affairs with women, including singers and escorts. He allegedly used Aretha for her fame and success, but despite the abuse, Aretha clung to the fantasy of a perfect marriage, wanting the world to believe her marriage to Ted was a fairy tale. Eventually, she couldn't take it any longer and divorced him. Aretha also experienced mistreatment from her own father, Reverend C.L. Franklin, who was one of the most famous preachers of his time. His national recognition came from his powerful sermons, which were broadcasted on radio and recorded for mass audiences. His voice was said to be so compelling that churchgoers would often faint from the intensity of his preaching, leading church nurses to carry smelling salts to revive them. However, as much as the Reverend was revered spiritually, he was also known for his notorious promiscuity. His biography, *Singing in a Strange Land*, reveals that he had an affair with a 12-year-old girl from his congregation, which caused a scandal that ultimately led to him and his family being run out of town. They settled in Detroit after this incident. What many people don't know is that the child resulting from this affair was reportedly part of Aretha's life. She was mentioned in Aretha's father's obituary as her sister and attended Aretha's funeral, sitting with the family. This adds an additional layer of complexity to Aretha's family dynamics, especially considering the allegations about her father's behavior. According to various reports, Reverend Franklin's church was rife with rumors of his inappropriate relationships with young girls. It was claimed that he often directed young women to older men in the congregation, and while some argued that these women threw themselves at the Reverend, others believed it was a sign of his manipulative behavior. David Ritz, in his biography of Aretha, quoted Aretha's sister Irma, shedding light on the complex and often painful family environment. Aretha's relationship with her father and men in general was fraught with challenges, marked by both public admiration and personal betrayal. Her tumultuous family life may have contributed to her struggle with relationships and personal happiness, a theme that echoes throughout her career and personal story. "My father was irascible, and my parents' relationship was turbulent. I would also be lying if I didn't acknowledge that we were aware of my father's reputation as a ladies' man. We witnessed how women in the church literally flocked to him, and as I grew older, I witnessed firsthand how he took advantage of many of those women." This is something that Aretha also mentioned in an interview with NPR, saying that children could see that women were sometimes taken off behind their father in an aggressive manner, with women sitting in the front pew with slits, slightly high skirts, short skirts, and other such attire. In fact, Ray Charles revealed in David Ritz's biography, Respect the Life of Aretha Franklin, what he witnessed in the church. The cats liked it with the cats and the chicks liked it with the chicks, and no one minded mixing it up this way, or that I got a kick out of seeing how God's people were. The story also claims that CL did not discriminate when it came to sleeping around, as he slept with both men and women, aside from a few other young girls, going for it hard and heavy in every manner. Did he mention that he enjoyed seeing how loose they were again? Did he mention that CL was also close friends with Rev James? In addition to exposing Aretha to all of these hookups, there have been claims that the Reverend exposed Aretha too, and even operated a ring himself. Cleveland was a closed-off homosexual preacher who forced himself on dozens of his young male churchgoers and allegedly infected many with AIDS before he passed away from AIDS-related complications in 1991. Death might have been connected to a terrible trade. In 1979, he was at point-blank range, twice in what was allegedly an attempted robbery at his house, but people from the past insist that it was related. The story goes that the men who broke into his house were there to rob him of his money and drugs, but he was home at the time and they exchanged gunfire. It's also known that Aretha's mother, Barbara Seger, left CL because of his unfaithfulness and his history of touching her. and she eventually grew tired of the disrespect and became Barbara moved to New York in 1948 when Aretha was 6 years old, taking Aretha's half-brother, Va, with her. Although they were all devastated when their mother left, it seems that the move affected Aretha more than anyone else because she was a very shy and reclusive person. Aretha Franklin was especially close to her mother, Barbara Siggers, and after Barbara left C.L. Franklin, Aretha was devastated. She cried for days, deeply affected by her mother's departure. Barbara's death, too, was shrouded in suspicion. While the official cause of death was reported as a heart attack at the age of 34, there were rumors suggesting that she died in a car accident, possibly orchestrated by C.L. Franklin himself. The circumstances surrounding Barbara's death added yet another layer of complexity to Aretha's tumultuous family history. One of the most disturbing rumors surrounding C.L. Franklin was the belief that he might have been involved in inappropriate relationships with his own daughter, Aretha. Over the years, some fans have speculated that C.L. Franklin may have fathered Aretha's first child. These rumors gained traction partly due to certain scenes in Aretha's biopic, where her father brings her downstairs to a party full of influential adults. In one scene, a clearly young Aretha is asked to sing for the guests, and later, she prepares to go to bed when an unnamed man enters her room, closes the door, and suggests that he'll be her boyfriend. The biopic doesn't reveal exactly what happens next, but it implies that Aretha was vulnerable to predatory behavior. In another scene, Aretha's sister asks her if she's ever going to tell them who fathered her first two sons, but once again, the identity remains a mystery. The biopic left many fans with lingering questions about Aretha's past, especially regarding her father's potential involvement. Speculation surrounding this matter has persisted for years, fueled by the unclear nature of the scenes in the film. Some believe that Aretha was sexually exploited at a young age, and the suggestion that her father may have been involved is unsettling, to say the least. However, the biopic never explicitly states that C.L. Franklin was responsible for Aretha's first pregnancy, leaving much to the imagination. After Aretha's death, 3 handwritten wills were discovered in her home, one of which was found in a notebook wedged between couch cushions. In one of these wills, Aretha referred to the father of her first child, stating that Clarence's father was Edward Jordan Sr., with whom she also had her second son. The will made it clear that Edward Jordan Sr. should never have control over any of Aretha's money or property, emphasizing this by underlining the word never twice. This document shed light on Aretha's complicated relationships with the men in her life, revealing how deeply her past had affected her decisions and her view of the people who were once close to her. While these documents offer some insight into Aretha's life and the men who played pivotal roles in it, they also leave many unanswered questions about her early experiences, especially regarding her relationship with her father. Despite the troubling rumors and speculation, the truth behind Aretha's first pregnancy and the identity of her first child's father remains a mystery to this day. The mystery surrounding Aretha Franklin's first child and the identity of the father continues to be a subject of speculation. One of the strongest theories that has persisted over the years is the possibility that her father, Reverend C.L. Franklin, could have fathered her first child. This theory is partially fueled by the fact that Aretha named all of her children after their fathers, leading many to believe that her first son, Clarence Franklin, might have been named after her father. When Aretha had her second child in 1957, she named him Edward after his father, Edward Jordan, and continued this pattern with her other children. Her third child, Ted White Jr., was named after his father, and her youngest, Heel Cunningham, took his father's name as well. It's been suggested that the choice of naming her first child after C.L. Franklin may have been a subtle hint at his involvement, though this remains purely speculative. The possibility that C.L. Franklin fathered Aretha's first child was further fueled by Aretha's own comments over the years. She once remarked that all of her children were named after their fathers, which some took as a more literal statement, suggesting that she might have meant her own father fathered her first son. Another possible father is the legendary singer Sam Cooke. Aretha's relationship with Cooke has been the subject of much speculation, with some claiming they may have been romantically involved when Aretha was just 12 years old and Cooke was 23. While the details of their relationship remain unclear, Aretha hinted at it in the Sam Cooke documentary, where she recalled an encounter with Cooke while on tour with her father. She described how she went to his hotel room alone, where the conversation shifted to a more intimate tone. At that moment, she heard her father's voice calling out for her, which led some to believe that the situation might have been interrupted before anything further transpired. This incident has left some wondering whether Sam Cooke could have fathered Aretha's first child. Aretha herself confirmed the promiscuity of her father, Reverend C.L. Franklin, in interviews. She spoke openly about her father's relationships with many women and how his reputation as a ladies' man was well known. C.L. Franklin's actions have always been a point of contention, and some believe he may have extended his predatory behavior to his daughter, Aretha, though this has never been confirmed. The true identity of the father of Aretha's first child may never be fully known. Whether it was her father or Sam Cooke, the details surrounding her early life remain shrouded in mystery. What is clear, however, is that Aretha's upbringing was filled with turbulence, and the rumors about her family dynamics only add to the complexity of her legacy. The possibility that C.L. Franklin could have been involved with his daughter in such a disturbing way has never been definitively proven, and it's a subject that continues to spark debate. What do you think? Do you believe the Reverend's promiscuity extended to Aretha, or could Sam Cooke have been the father of her first child?